Joe, who is much the orchestrator for the North Koreans. United States wearing their smart all-white uniform. Amy Lepelbat has the 16-year-old to mark on that side. Kim Soo-gyong wearing the number 8 for North Korea. That's her with the sliding challenge. Your keys to the game, Julie?
Well, for the United States, I think the most important thing is North Korea likes to keep a compact defensive unit, so stretching them, the balance of possession versus stretching them with the long ball and stretching them wide. And the other thing is just to stay calm. I mean, there's so much pressure going into this first World Cup game. Stay steady with your emotions. If something happens, you give up a goal.
Carly Lloyd trying to feed the very pacey Amy Rodriguez, known to all the team as A-Rod. She's been in good goal-scoring form this year. Ra feeding it wide. Here's Joe again in midfield. Voted the most valuable player in the Asian qualifying. That's a wonderful ball to find Kim Soo-gyong on this side. Good football here from North Korea. The cross shot goes a long way. It's well cleared in the end by Ali Krieger, one of those making a World Cup debut here. And Heather O'Reilly, bound to be a big player again for the United States. She did score in the 2-2 draw between these two sides 4 years ago. And that match, by the way, is the only time in World Cup history group play that the United States have ever been behind in a match. It was only for 7 minutes when the North Koreans took a 2-1 lead when Abby Wambach was off the pitch. Here's Wambach now, very much fit again. Shannon Box. Lepelbat wearing the number 6 shirt, a central defender converted to left back.
And as we've seen with the United States this year, they've had some slow starts, especially in World Cup qualifiers where they had the hiccup against Mexico and actually had to qualify through a playoff series. So key for them is coming in and starting strong.
Long ball fed towards Yun, who's wearing the yellow boots. Good start to the competition would mean so much for the United States. It has been a bit of a bumpy road in recent times. A near failure to qualify after that stunning loss against Mexico, and 1 or 2 other defeats too against England and Sweden. What about North Korea then, Julie? What do they have to do here?
I think the 2 most important keys are offensively be good in transition. Try and strike a counter. They're going to stay compact. If they can spring out of that, that will obviously help them. And then try and press the U.S. back line. They can't go at all times, of course, but at moments, try and put some pressure on that back line because they have been seen to cough up the ball.
Song, the most experienced player at 30. She's almost a grandmother in the terms of this North Korean side.
3rd World Cup. Only the 2nd for North Korea to ever do that.
Really is a first taste of the big time for many of the North Koreans. Vast gap in experience. The USA have got to make that count if they can. North Korea may think they've got a golden generation, but how will they react if they're really put under the cosh here? Krieger feeding it down the line to the speedy Heather O'Reilly.
We've had 2 opportunities now with the United States to check the pace of that North Korean back line. And you're seeing Ho right there, number 3 for North Korea, kept pretty good pace with Heather O'Reilly, and number 16, their center back Jong, kept pretty good pace with Amy Rodriguez. So that's an encouraging sign for North Korea, because those are 2 of the fastest players the United States has.
Lloyd, very good leap to win the header in midfield. And one thing these North Koreans may have is the fearlessness of youth. They've been successful as teenagers so far. They will believe they can cause an upset.
There sure is something to be said about being young and innocent and not knowing any better.
Bound to be a few nerves. Christy Rampone there. She was Christy Pierce back in 1999. Mother of 2 daughters now who usually travel with her to watch Mum play.
Yeah, it's great to see her with both her kids on the road so much.
And Cheney was closing in there. Her natural instincts, although nominally starting wide on the left, to come inside and look for goals. Oh, that was missed by Bueller. And it gives a chance here to North Korea to attack, and Yoon trying to attack it, having been set up by Ra Sim. Dodgy moment.
And you had Ri Yoon from North Korea, number 11, on the backside, wide open. And that's the danger when you're sending numbers. Heather O'Reilly was caught going forward. Amy Lepelbet, the left back for the United States, caught going forward. So in the first 10 minutes, you know, that's the challenge, the balance. You want to start strong, but you also don't want to concede, of course, early.
Free kick for the United States. The North Koreans will have worked long and hard in training about counteracting the threat of Abby Wambach, who's tall and powerful and usually full of goals. That one hit long, and the header down was, in the end, stopped Carly Lloyd getting forward from midfield.
And, of course, they're looking for Abby Wambach, as you said, Ian. She's one of the best in the world. Carly Lloyd getting ahead on that one. Another very good player in the air. So many targets for the United States on set pieces. But at times, when you're that distance, why not? Cheney was pulling out wide on that one to the left. Why not play a quick one and try and catch North Korea in transition?
So much experience in the center of the U.S. midfield. Shannon Box, a 147th cap, alongside Carly Lloyd, also over 100. One's rather overrun by Ra.
And this is Kim coming in hard, and ouch, those hurt. I'm surprised she didn't get a yellow for that one, actually. I didn't see a card given. But we're going to pay a lot of attention to this left side of the United States today, because Amy Lepelbet and Lauren Cheney's been a big topic of discussion, getting the late start, are not natural left-sided players.
Here is Cheney, and she can shoot. We know that. It's a good effort too. The goalkeeper got right behind it. Fair effort from Lauren Cheney.
And again, a great glimpse of what Lauren Cheney can provide, because she's going to drift in. You're going to find her in that hole quite a bit behind the forwards.
I know these U.S. matches to many viewers are fairly agonizing viewing when the stakes are as high as they are at a World Cup, just as it was last year. Rampone playing it forward, but nobody running that channel for the United States. 2 times winners at the World Cup, the USA in 1991, first ever competition in 1999.
And there's the Lauren Cheney shot from outside, and we saw just a few weeks ago how she can hit them from that distance. She hit one that was a rocket into the corner in the 92nd minute to win the game versus Mexico in their send-off match.
Here's Lepelbet, referred to Stephanie Cox at left back. That's another change you may see later on if the USA are looking for a more attacking option down that side. Lepelbet does well, finds Rodriguez. The North Koreans, though, managing to break it up. They're usually very, very compact, and I know a lot of the work ahead of this game has been on developing chances down the flanks and getting in good crosses to spread the North Koreans, so that they can't turn it into a traffic jam in central midfield.
Yeah, and we've already seen some success in that area for the United States, with Heather O'Reilly on that right side finding some good space.
One back inside. Rodriguez tried the volley. Difficult art. The North Koreans chancing their arm, passing it across the edge of their own penalty area. And now Ra to bring it away for North Korea. Just occupying a space in the hole ahead of the defenders. Not properly picked up yet and causing 1 or 2 problems. And they'll have to sort that out, whether one of the central defenders comes out to mark or whether one of the midfield players drops in and picks Ra up.
And that's really the danger with the United States 2 central midfielders. If Shannon Box gets stuck forward, right, that counterattack is wide open. And especially if she's losing the ball there, There's no one in behind her typically in that midfield to stop that counter.
Ra again looking for a clever little flick. And the decision has gone the United States' way here. This is Group C already today in this group. Sweden making pretty heavy weather of it to beat Colombia by 1-0. They should have had 3 in the first quarter of an hour.
Yeah, they really should have. And as we've seen in so many World Cups, that can make a difference. In fact, in Sweden's last World Cup, it was the difference. The goal differential kept them out of the next round.
Krieger and O'Reilly developing a good understanding down that right-hand side. Krieger was fluent in German from her time with Frankfurt. She said she felt at home here the moment she got off the plane.
That was interesting. When we saw her yesterday, we said, how's it being back in Germany? And she said, I feel like I'm home.
Cheney, very strong, trying to come in from that left-hand side. What we haven't seen yet is too many crosses from the United States in towards Wambach. There's Ra again showing up very well, this time dropping deeper, as she likes to do.
Yeah, because coach of the United States, Pia Sundhage, that's what she's been talking about for this whole week, about the importance of good service into the box. And equally important, having players on the end of those balls.
And that won't be a problem. At times here, it's almost resembling a 4-3-3 that the USA are playing, because Cheney's pushed pretty far forward on that left-hand side.
Well, that, of course, is her tendency, having played mostly at the forward position. Tony talked about it in pregame, that he has her sometimes play in the midfield for his Boston Breakers team, but she typically plays inside in the hole, not out wide on the left side.
I spoke to the coach, Pia Sundhage, last night after training and said why the change. She said that Lauren Cheney had not been happy at all about not starting, didn't think she was getting enough game time, and she said, I like that. I like the fact that she's not happy, and I thought about it and thought she deserved the chance.
And the weird thing about it all isn't the swap, it's just the timing of the swap, I think, you know, to decide so late. But I do think it could be a good, healthy swap for the United States.
Because Cheney hasn't started since March.
Hasn't started since March. Rapinoe started 9 of the last 11 games for the United States.
So it is a slight switch in thinking by the coach in the final days before the tournament.
I'll tell you what, though, when Megan Rapinoe comes in, she's going to be ready.
Great credit to her, I thought, Megan Rapinoe. Last night, she knew she wasn't playing. She stood there and did about 6 interviews with television, radio crews, and I'm told she took a very, very professional approach to it.
Yeah.
Her time might come again.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Might even come again tonight somewhere. Rampone doing well. She's 36 now. Splendid career for Christy Rampone. That's nicely done by the United States. Just looking to develop a little more rhythm. Cheney just hit the back of the heel of Rodriguez. That was a little unlucky. Now then, Carly Lloyd, another who can shoot from long range, given the opportunity. From Delran, New Jersey, Carly Lloyd.
And you can see the United States starting to get a little bit more rhythm. 15 minutes, 16 minutes into the game, settling down a little bit. That's pretty typical.
Patience is important, isn't it? Got a long time to win the game in.
Oh, yes. And understanding the flow of the game. There are moments when you're going to be chasing a little bit, and not to get frustrated by that, but to get it back and settle the team.
Krieger with the header. Heather Mitz, who had a long battle against injury on the build-up to this World Cup, waiting in the wings, hoping she might get a chance to become a World Cup debutant at the age of 33 later on. The right back, who's featured on the front of a few magazines in her time.
And that would be great, given her history with the World Cups, getting injured right before the last 2.
And so far, Hope Solo has been pretty much a spectator. The goalkeeper who seems to be in the news one way and another for various reasons, and having to have a pain-killing injection before this game, we understand from our excellent reporter Bob Holtzman. No way through for Kim. Lloyd getting in the challenge. Big job for the two central midfield players, but they're well up to it, really. Carly Lloyd and Shannon Box, if in their best form.
And when we're looking from our aerial view here, about 30,000 feet up from this shot right here, you can see the size of that midfield, and where they're going to need help is Heather O'Reilly pinching in on that other side. Lauren Cheney pinching in on her side. Because defensively, that's a lot of ground to cover.
Here's Joe, the skipper. And Lloyd winning the challenge and using the ball well. Wambach needs to keep it going. She's done exactly that. Good play here by the USA. Krieger, Riley making a run here. Heather O'Reilly on the right-hand side. Can she get a cross in? Well covered. Did well there, the North Koreans, to stop the cross coming in.
Very well defended. They sent two, one for cover. Heather O'Reilly loves to face up and take on, and she is one of the fastest on the team. So, again, a good look at the pace of that back line for North Korea. And that's typically where the United States can really put a team under, is they can just fly by them on the flanks.
Now, in all the build-up matches, Megan Rapinoe, who's been left out, took the corner kicks. Cheney, who's replaced her, gets the job. And I think that was also part of that decision. Now, the referee's got a problem here, because there's about 15 players. They could fit them in a phone booth.
A British phone booth. Yeah, they did this recently in their game against Mexico. This is a new set piece for the United States. You're going to see them break apart from there, but it is a little bit disconcerting, I'm sure, for a goalkeeper standing there with a mass in front of her, and that's the point of all of this.
The USA have got the taller players as well. The goalkeeper's come and hasn't won it. Box couldn't quite dig the ball out. Brave piece of goalkeeping. Nicely done. Rodriguez should be the goalkeepers, and it is handled by Hong, the 19-year-old, who did make a big blunder against the USA in the Under-17 World Cup in 2008, but North Korea did go on to win that game 2-1.
Right in the beginning of that match, she did.
Joe.
And really the only thing you're seeing from the North Koreans is happening right in that central midfield area. They're coming through there when they have had their few opportunities. So that may be an area the United States needs to look at in terms of helping Carly Lloyd and Shannon Box in that central midfield area.
Lloyd's ball around the corner, hoping that Rodriguez could make something of it. The combined number of caps for this USA starting lineup is over 1,100 today. That is 10 times as many as the
That's amazing.
North Korean squad. Lloyd, shot's blocked. She might get another go, but can't get hold of the shot.
This started as an early ball out by Carly Lloyd, and then she got on the end of it over here. But good little sequence. They're just a little step off.
Not too many alarms so far for the USA defense after that little mini scare in the first couple of minutes. Here is Cheney, plays for Boston Breakers. And just hit long and rather aimlessly in the end by the number 5 for North Korea, Song. By the way, 7 of North Korea's team play for a club named April the 25th, which is the Army team named after the Reclusive States Military Foundation Day.
That's good research, Ian Dark.
I need to get a life, don't I?
I can't tell you the excitement he had on the bus when he found that one out.
Easily pleased, I guess.
Well, it's just so hard to get any nuggets about North Korea. You get excited when you get one like that. That was a good one.
I don't think they're going to tell you too much, in all honesty. When the men's team went out of the World Cup, they were subjected to a 6-hour public humiliation, the players, at the Workers' Cultural Palace last year, and the coach was sent to work on a building site, reportedly. Kim won possession, but the play's going to be pulled back here with Carly Lloyd down on the ground. The free kick has been given. I think North Korea would have rather had the advantage.
Oh dear, you can see that one's going to hurt. There you get a glimpse actually at the other view was their heart rate monitors they're all wearing during the game. Don Scott, their fitness coach for the United States team, monitors that at every moment.
Kim Si-kyung, misunderstanding, not breaking down in the final third for North Korea when they do manage to get forward. But so far the United States not creating too much, it should be said. And we've seen a narrowing of the gap already at this World Cup between the elite teams and the others. Chance of a long-range shot here, which is over the top of the bar, coming in from the number 12, John.
And that's going to be something that's hard to put by a world-class goalkeeper like Hope Solo. But still, they're getting the space in midfield, which is the more concerning thing for the United States.
The World Cup continues from Germany, Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. USA against Colombia. That's the next game in Group C, also available on ESPN3.com. Here's Ra again. Lots of pace. Lapel bet for company. All the signs early on that it might not be an easy night for the USA. No formality.
No, and this is what a team like North Korea can grab and run with, because they're looking at the clock. They're saying 25 minutes in, we're all right here. This is the #1 team in the world, and we're not getting many looks, but we're doing all right.
John feeds it inside to Joe. Now Ra. Song with the cross. Difficult bounce. Rather stood up before Christy Rampone got it away. Almost came off her knee. Certainly no excuse with the quality of the pitches for any of the sides here. They're in perfect condition. Song again gets a useful looking ball in. Rodriguez let it run quite cleverly. And there's room out on the right hand side here for Heather O'Reilly. Runs into a red wall.
Give the North Koreans credit, too, because they've stayed very organized with that back four. That's where the U.S. attack seems to break down, and anytime Heather O'Reilly has tried to take them on the wing, she tried to cut inside this time. She's faced resistance there.
Certainly no cause for any real anxiety for the USA. They haven't really developed any kind of attacking rhythm as yet. Not been allowed to, perhaps. Lapel bet. And then Cheney. The two Boston players combining on that side. Cheney dispossessed. North Korea comfortable in possession. All the players are quite technical. So number 11, Ri. Back to Song. And Kim Si-kyung, the 16-year-old, second youngest player in the tournament. You can see why she's in the team.
And you can see how skillful they are on the ball. They just have such a confidence and balance to them. And this is where the United States doesn't want to find itself. Defending corner kicks, chasing. I mean, it's a hot day. 82 degrees, as you said at the start of the telecast, Ian.
Well, it should be getting cooler because the local time now is 20 to 7 in the evening.
I'm still sweating, by the way.
Yeah. Imagine what it's like for the players. US with a corner to defend here. Taken by Joe, goes a long way. Wombok was back defending. And then the volley, which was half blocked from Ree. No problem for Hope Solo, who looks to let the ball go quickly to launch a counter-attack. She'd seen Rodriguez. Shannon Box unable to control it. And she's quite cynically given away the free kick.
We've talked a lot about the two central midfield positions leading into this World Cup, where Shannon Box, number 7, who you see right there, was going to stay in that more holding midfield position.
Deflected ball in again. It goes an awful long way and it's still not clear. That was pretty unconvincing defending by the USA. I don't think Bueller in particular was quite sure of her bearings when the ball arrived on that back post. Maybe the North Koreans just beginning to grow in belief a little here.
Getting a little more confident, and that's something that could be easily sorted with a little communication, which has been one of the criticisms of this team, is how vocal are Amy Lepelbet and Rachel Bueller, the two backs on your left side there.
Kim Si-kyung muscled out of it this time by the tenacious Bueller. Lloyd to O'Reilly, who hasn't really seen enough of the ball so far, perhaps from an American perspective. Great piece of play by her towards Rodriguez, who had a chance of a near-post header. Didn't really get that header away. They want the corner kick here. The United States doesn't look like they're going to get it.
And here's the challenge for the United States, is finding Heather O'Reilly on that flank, because you can see when she gets it, she's got the space, and she's going to take on. Now, we know that she's geared to turn and burn, and so you can see the speed and pace she can bring to a game there.
I think the USA got a little hint there of the right passage to go, because O'Reilly had the speed to take on and beat the fullback and get a crossing, which was pulled back into a dangerous area. Miscue by Bueller, one of those making her first appearance at the World Cup. In fact, 2 of the starting lineup, Lepelbet and Krieger, haven't played in any big tournament. Not World Cup, not Olympics.
Yet the interesting note is they're the oldest team in this tournament, as we talked about earlier. Yet 13 players on the roster who are in their first World Cup.
Wombok back to Shannon Box, who scored on her World Cup debut back in 2003. Rodriguez, misunderstanding between her and Krieger, but ball well won back by Shannon Box, who's really good at winning back possession for the team. It's an unfashionable job, but a vital one. Wombok, can she get there for this? That was good defending by the number 17 at the back there, Ree Unho. And the goalkeeper making a real hash of that. It's a corner.
Heather O'Reilly just trying to put one in at the near post. She wasn't quite on target, and Hong having a difficult time with that. Can't really blame the sun for that one either, because she's right in the shade there. And again, you're going to see Abby Wombok on that back post. Carly Lloyd, number 10. Shannon Box, number 7. Big target types for the United States.
Bueller had hopes of a header there. The North Koreans made sure it didn't arrive. And now they can break with the teenager Yun. She's the one wearing the yellow boots. Krieger's header's a good one. Well known to German fans of women's soccer, Ali Krieger, playing for Frankfurt, winners of the German Cup.
The only player on the U.S. team who doesn't play in our women's professional league, the WPS.
She's made a real strong run into the side and made that place her own in recent times, Krieger.
And how huge is that, coming into a World Cup and feeling like you've come home in Germany? That you have that advantage of feeling so familiar.
Just 1 or 2 signs of first night nerves among some of the players, perhaps for the USA. And Song, the 30-year-old, This time dispossessed. Box does well. Krieger with a lot of grass to move into on that side. Rodriguez wants it played in and again has the pace to get there. And gets across away as well towards Wombat. Comes out again, Cheney! Good hit again.
Another good shot by Cheney, but just unfortunately both of them have been straight at home, straight at her. But gets a lot on that ball.
Yun. North Koreans keeping the ball pretty well in the middle third of the pitch. Kim Si-kyung again. Taking on Lepelbat and getting the better of Lepelbat and getting across away. Danger there. Lepelbat needs to recover. And Kim Si-kyung has a chance on goal. Saved by Hope Solo. But the 16-year-old is proving a real thorn in the side of the American defense.
And this is where Amy Lepelbat, she's known for her defense. That's why she's at that unfamiliar left back position. Yet she gets beat by the 16-year-old, as you said, Ian Dark. But first real look at Hope Solo's shoulder there. She looked just fine with that nice save.
Maybe precautionary, the pain-killing injections. It threatened her very participation for a long time in this competition. Joe getting the corner in. Wombat doing the clearance. Her height at the back vital from those set pieces. But it's proving a tight game. We thought the North Koreans might be a toughish nut to crack, and that's just the way it's proving. And
they're gaining confidence with every minute. You can see that the tide has definitely shifted in these last 10 minutes. Good possession. United States team doing a lot of chasing right now, and that's no fun in this heat.
Here's Song. Again, Kim Si-kyung again. We've clearly found a bit of a start. And that will go out of play. More from the FIFA Women's World Cup on Wednesday at 8:45 a.m. Eastern on ESPN as Norway takes on Equatorial Guinea, making their very first appearance at the Women's World Cup or any sporting competition of note that I can remember. Also available, of course, ESPN3.com. Now then, Carly Lloyd. Chance to shoot again. And once again, not quite got those shooting boots on yet, Lloyd.
And what the North Koreans are doing so well, and here's a good look at Carly Lloyd. What the North Koreans are doing so well is they're dropping their center forward, Ra-eun-sum, and she's almost sitting on top of Boxy when the U.S. has possession, so they can't play through Shannon Box in that middle central holding midfield area. They're clogging it up with 5 in the midfield, which is proving a challenge right now for the 2 United States central midfielders.
One thing I've noticed since covering the United States women's team is they do tend to improve in the second half of matches, though that wasn't the case in that behind closed doors game the other day against Norway. The team is strong and very, very physically fit. Not quite the service that was so far quite quiet Abby Wambach was looking for. Joe is the player looking to pull those strings for the North Koreans, who've only once got out of the group in this competition. Here's Amy Rodriguez.
And there you're seeing the tendency of Lauren Cheney to cut inside, and what happens is you're going to have to create some type of width if she does that. In particular, your left back and Amy Lepelbat, but the left back and the outside back, the other right back for the United States, don't have a tendency to go.
Song. Fed back again. Song with a chance to get across and beats Lepelbat in that position. Danger here, right across the face of goal. And another moment of alarm for the United States, who are certainly not having everything their own way here, not by any stretch.
And these are one of the areas we've talked a lot about coming into this World Cup, how the back four for the United States would handle that pressure. And right now, not handling it very well, Ian.
Certainly going through a bad patch. They really could have done with One of those firecracker shots from Lauren Cheney going in, particularly the early one, just to settle everything down. As it is, the longer it goes, the more North Korea will fancy their chances.
And it's creating a bit of a problem with number 9 for North Korea, tucking in defensively in the midfield, because they're not able then to set play through that central midfield position.
John feeding it wide for North Korea, winners of the Under-17 World Cup in 2008 and the Under-20 World Cup in 2006. And 9 of the players in the squad have come through that route into this World Cup roster.
And it bears repeating, 10 of them teenagers. 10 of the 21 players for North Korea are teenagers.
It's worth repeating. No squad this young since Nigeria and Chinese Taipei back in 1991 at the first World Cup.
When we were all just babies.
I wasn't. You were. Here's Rachel Bueller. I'm looking for a long ball, and really, it was a little aimless, in all honesty, in the end, that.
And it's really quite smart what North Korea is doing, because they're essentially saying, you want to set play? Set from the back line. And here you're seeing Song, who's so good. That's the right back, mind you. So good at getting forward, beating Lepelbet on the outside, cutting it across the end line. She's just trying to slip it across. Good little ball in, but no one for North Korea making that back post run, which would have had the United States completely beat.
Bringing a third World Cup. One back. Rodriguez, chance here. Blocked on the way through. Rodriguez can pick it up again. Does very well to keep it alive. Heather O'Reilly. And will bounce behind for a goal kick. But there was a sniff of an opportunity.
And another great defensive play by North Korea. It just falls to Amy Rodriguez's feet. One of those gifts. Good defense again. But as I was saying, the tactic is smart by saying we're going to clog the midfield, not let Shannon Box and Carly Lloyd set play. We're going to force you to set play with your outside backs and your back line, which isn't the strength of the United States offensively.
Krieger beaten for pace on that side by Reed. Posing a few questions. Joe just sitting in that holding role and spreading the play beautifully for Kim Si-gyung. They look a decent side here, North Korea. That might worry Sweden a little bit, and Colombia too. Worked this very well. Cross shot comes in from Ra.
And you can see the body language of the U.S. players is a little negative right now, but that's the beauty of the way North Korea plays. Little combination play, triangles all over the place, people running off the ball for each other. Great sequence by North Korea.
Ra Sim with 7 goals in her 20 caps, which is pretty reasonable. Foot up there against Carly Lloyd, and it'll be a free kick to the North Koreans. The USA have been held scoreless in the first half in 3 group matches in World Cup history, and 2 of them were against tonight's opposition, North Korea. In fact, the only time the USA haven't won in all the World Cups so far in group games has been twice in opening matches of the tournament. 3-3 beat China in 1995, 2-2 against the North Koreans in the last World Cup, which was a dramatic game when a lot happened in the second half. It might here too.
All of it happening when Abby Wambach was off the field getting her head bandaged. 9 minutes, and they scored 2 goals to equalize.
Here she is again, one of the players of the first half. Kim Si-gyung to the near post. Joe picked it on that near post. Young was in there as well. And I have to say, the United States defense has looked rocky in this first half. Rodriguez. Good play. Tremendous play from Rodriguez. Womack's waiting in the middle, and she isn't found. Glorious opportunity goes begging.
And all the right intentions there for the United States. Just the step off. But a beautiful run by Amy Rodriguez to get around the end line.
Tremendous pace from Rodriguez, who, like O'Reilly, is soon to be married, I understand. But work to do here first, of course. Coming up at half-time, by the way, analysis of this first half, plus highlights of the other game in this group today, Colombia v Sweden. That's with Bob Lee and the team. I'm sure they'll have plenty to say about this opening half of the World Cup for the USA. And it might not all be complimentary.
Well, in the U.S. really needs to do a better job of holding the ball. Giving possession away too many times, especially when they're trying to connect between the midfield and the front line. Little patience, because that patience buys you numbers getting forward. You can get your outside backs forward. You can get your outside midfielders higher.
Buehler wide for Lapalbet. To be said, I think in this first half, Buehler and Lapalbet have both looked a little nervy, perhaps understandable. So far, the USA have got away with that. Joe picks it up again, very cultured in there. Give me the ball, let me run things, she's saying. And she's given Box and Lloyd a run for their money. One back on the chase. But it's a chase that's going to be in vain. Silver shoe winner 4 years ago with 6 goals. Only Marta, the great Brazilian, could top that. Settle for 6 this time, wouldn't she?
And these are all things they're going to have to adjust at halftime. The United States is going to go in and say, okay, we're having some trouble. Abby right there was checking, Abby Wambach checking to the ball, and Lauren Cheney tried to play her over the top. So a bit of a miscommunication, and then sorting out that midfield. Who's going to step in and play make if they're sitting on Shannon Box and Carly Lloyd? You got to get some outside flank players involved.
One of the players played very well. Ra with the long ball towards Yun, the 18-year-old. Ree picks it up this time. North Korea do lose possession, but not very long. They picked it up again here. This would be a very, very good win, I think, if the USA can get this tonight. They need to improve in the second half, I'd say.
And that's where you go in at halftime and say, okay, look, not our best half, but no need to panic here. We can fix these things. We've had some good looks on goals.
This is a team trying to make the football public in the USA believe that they can do the great things that the 1991 and 1999 golden sides could do and win the World Cup. Perhaps they can. Sometimes in group play and in a tournament, things grow from little acorns.
Well, and let's look back to the 2008 Olympics. They lost their very first game to Norway and ended up winning the Olympics.
Carly Lloyd's cross in, which goes a long way, and it was one of those that might have gone all the way. Nobody got a touch on it. Buehler tried to. I've seen those end up in the corner of the net with the goalkeeper wrong-footed before now.
And that is a great ball in because it's curving in towards the keeper. All you need is a little flick on it.
Yun from a long way out. Was always going wide. I think Hope Solo had it covered. She'll tell you she did.
But again, where's this coming from? Midfield. Too much space in the midfield. No one's stepping on those balls.
Half-time. No breakthrough for the USA. Some worrying moments as well. Lots to talk about. So half-time here in beautiful Dresden. A very hot, sunny evening. It's even getting hotter as we speak. USA need to warm it up as well. 0-0 here as we send it back to Bob Lee.
It certainly is warm, Ian, and it's a match that the United States owned in the early moments, but in the last 15, 20 minutes belonging to North Korea back here in downtown Dresden in front of the Church of Our Lady. Bob Lee, Freddie Chastain, Tony DeChico, the ebb and flow. The U.S. had their opportunities, but North Korea is organized and persistent.
They're absolutely persistent, and I think what they're doing is they're putting the U.S. under a lot of pressure on the outside backs, specifically with number 8, Kim Soo-jeong. She's gotten around Amy Lepelbet quite a few times and actually had Hope Solo need to make a few saves.
Amy Lepelbet needs to force her central into cover. At the end, Lauren Cheney was coming back to help. But when you have a good 1v1 artist like that, you got to get help.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, 1v1 defending is difficult as it is. The attacker has the advantage. Team USA needs to work together, create 1v2s, settle it down a little bit, stop being so impatient.
Well, the U.S., it's relied on Hope Solo. 5 saves in this first half, all critically needed. Holding on at times, it's a scoreless draw, North Korea and the United States. Group C play for the U.S. getting underway. More to take a look at. The full highlights of this first half when we return.
What if we weren't ranked number 1 in the world? Imagine there were no Mia, no Brandy, no legends to live up to. And thousands of little girls didn't look up to us.